Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So in today's video we'll be talking about several things actually, mainly a pretty large cooldown that will be occurring across the United States, and also a pretty large snowstorm across the northern plains of the United States and into southern Canada, and definitely a unusual spring pattern as we head into really mid-April at this point of 2021. Okay, this channel, by the way, if you're new, is all about the weather. So if you're new watching this, consider subscribing, consider liking if this channel resonates with you. Otherwise, let's start talking about this weather. So first off, I have the radar pulled up, right? And notice we have a very, very large scale storm that dropped quite a bit of rain and severe weather across the south and the Midwest yesterday, and you can see it's still spinning right there, the center of it, really right now kind of across Lake Michigan. And you can see that it's spinning away showers, a bit of heavier rain towards southern Indiana, Kentucky, and some light bands of rain developing across western Illinois into Indiana. Wisconsin, right? We have a lot of light rain, a few embedded thunder showers, no real significant severe weather threat. But we do have a bit of cold air to the north, and that's prompting some of that rain to transition over to snow. Notice we are seeing light to very light rain across North Dakota. That will be going on for next several hours, and next several days, really, precipitation will be kind of filing in. So that's definitely good. A lot of those locations are dry, so you're going to get a bit of, a bit of rain just in time for the spring plantings. So that is definitely good news. But again, a rather unusual pattern is taking hold compared to what they thought would be happening. So looking at the advisories here in Canada, you can see heavy snow predicted, 5 to 10 centimeters. 15 to 20 centimeters. You can see that they are showing that there could be additional system, right, that could bring 5 to 10 on Tuesday. Notice right there in Manitoba, a certain county, whatever, it's not a province, a little section of a province, I don't know what they call that in Canada, seeing blizzard conditions possible, as with very strong winds and rain, very strong winds and snow could be creating whiteout conditions. And overall, you can see this is a very large scale system. Okay, so let's take a look at this and take a glance at this system, right? So the GFS, right, is a really good model. This is an updated GFS. So if you recall, there was like the GFS parallel. Well, now they replaced the old GFS with the GFS parallel, and they just keep calling it the GFS. That's what they always do every few years. Remember, this model, the parallel one, was doing a very good job in the fall, and it continues to do a pretty good job. So notice, right, there's our system, what I showed you on the radar. Pretty good representation of the model. Definitely has a good handle on this. Notice a bit of that snow already starting to occur across, really into Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario. And notice that as we push this into Monday morning, so this is 1 a.m. Monday morning, so tomorrow, we see that rain transition over to snow quite a bit more intensely. Right now it's still mainly just snowing across southern Canada, but you can see eventually this system continues to shear itself out, right? Kind of separates at this point this northern piece from that southern piece. And what we start seeing is actually some pretty heavy to moderate snow across North Dakota, Minnesota, really north of Minneapolis, right into, say, Grand Forks, Fargo, seeing some snow, and most of North Dakota. Notice into southern Canada, very heavy snow potentially. And look at this. This is Monday afternoon, Monday evening, right? This is now noon in Monday midnight into Tuesday, Monday morning, Monday during the day. This is now Tuesday evening. You can see the snow is still occurring at this point. Snow showers and some rain showers, some grapple mixing into potentially Minneapolis, right? The bigger cities, maybe northern Wisconsin, the UP, seeing some rain and snow on and off. Notice this thing kind of sags to the south, and along with it, as it kind of just sits up there, it drags this very, relatively chilly air mass. I wouldn't say very, but definitely a shock compared to what we've been seeing across the United States this first 10 days, 11 days of April. It's been very warm, and the Climate Prediction Center, along with the Weather Channel and all other sorts of media, were saying that April would be very warm. They had very high confidence, and at this point, it looks as if that warmth may be behind us. It looks as if this first 10 days was warm, and then the European, the GFS, are keeping the cold all the way through the beginning of May. Again, relatively cold. It won't be bitter. It will be still 60s and 50s, but instead of 70s or 80s. And it should be dry as well. That's kind of the quick synopsis. Not a lot of precipitation, quite a bit of sun, so it won't feel that miserable for those that want spring, and that's most people, right? Notice that system to the north really just falls apart, lots of showers, and kind of tracks over the same areas where it is right now. This system just hangs on for a very long time with us. Notice you do see a bit more moisture work into the western United States, right? And across the south, a bit of thunderstorms on Wednesday into Thursday. Really nothing too significant. And notice that we have these two systems. Again, very slow moving, light to moderate rain falling out of them. No real thunderstorm risk, as we have pretty chilly air coming in across the Midwest. You can see Friday, the 32-degree line, supposedly, is down here. But again, in reality, it's a bit further to the north. If I were to take a look at the 2-meter temperature shaded, yeah, you can see, but definitely chilly. And this is the daytime highs, right? You can see that's pretty chilly. St. Louis 55, Chicago 40s, Des Moines 40s, Minneapolis 40s, Milwaukee 40, Detroit, any place in Ohio, Pennsylvania, same story. Just a bit warmer towards the south, still pretty chilly. Okay, putting this forward, notice that what we see is these two systems potentially dropping even a bit of snow across the northeast. Definitely not out of the question. Notice with that cold air, potentially some pretty good amounts of snow across Colorado, Kansas, Nebraska, right? Especially towards the mountainsides. Obviously, not really out into central Kansas or eastern Kansas. It's a bit too warm for that, but it's possible. You could get some snowflakes mixing in as far as, say, Topeka, Wichita, Kansas. And notice that this is now next week. Again, chillier remains. The system kind of sags to the south, and we see a cold front. Look at that, bringing snow. This is more than a week from today, so pretty far out, right? But nevertheless, it shows a pattern. The warm air just continues to be kept to the south. And look at that. We see a coastal system, a bit of snow as far south as Illinois, maybe Wisconsin. Look at that. We see a bit of warm air intrusion, right? You can see that red line kind of pokes up to the north, but following that, we see more. And look at that. That's actually a band of snow that brings snow into Green Bay, most of the UP. And some of those locations have already had 70s and 80s this year. So, definitely a sharp contrast to what we've been seeing. And look at that. This cold, dreary pattern continues well into April 27th, and we are still stuck in this chilly pattern. 2-meter temperature anomaly. This is what it looks like at April 27th. Anywhere it's blue, it's below average, and I'll just quickly run through this to show you what's going to be happening, right? So right now we're still stuck across some locations in a relatively warmer pattern. Look at this though, right? We start seeing cold air mass come through. The warmth will be pretty much secluded to the northwest, southeastern Canada, and potentially Peninsula Florida and the southwest. But even those locations look to be invaded by some cool air, at least occasionally. Look at those anomalies in Texas. That will definitely feel like early spring instead of, mid-spring. And this continues, and as soon as you think this one's disappearing and starts sagging out, it sags into Mexico, Florida, but we see a new one, a new cold anomalous air mass that moves through. And look at that one. That one's pretty powerful. Again, dropping temperatures by 10 to 15 degrees. As soon as you think that's over, some of this warm air gets in, we see another one coming through. Again, the most affected areas will be the central United States, the south, and the east coast. But again, places like Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont may get away with it, and the coastal west at points, it could get pretty high across or above average in Idaho, Wyoming, Montana. But again, those areas will be kind of the battlefield, the battle zone, as you can see. One day they're very above average, another day they're very chilly. And look at this one. This mass is very chilly and moves in to late April, and we see continued cold streaming in. So it definitely a chilly April looks to be underway, and it's not going to be miserable because a lot of this will be rain free. There won't be many systems, so quite a good dose of sun, and that's a good thing. Cool weather crops, if you're a gardener, will love this type of stuff. Spinach, arugula. There's always people complaining that spring happens too quickly, and this will prolong our spring, right? Typical 40s, 50s, maybe some light frost at night to the north. Typical early spring weather, maybe a bit unusual, but nothing historic by any means. Okay, so I was talking about that winter storm, but I got carried away from that winter storm. The next 144 hours, this is what it could drop. Again, most of the heavy snow across Canada, However, decent amounts into North Dakota, potentially Minnesota, some 6-inch amounts, half foot plus. And through the North Dakota area, definitely I would say some double-digit snowfalls are possible. Potentially some light snow across the Northeast with that system later this week. That could be kind of hanging on there for quite a while, mixing in with some of that snow, especially the higher elevated areas. Notice a bit of snow potentially for the mountains in Colorado, even the plains of Kansas and Nebraska. Again, nothing unusual for this time of the year. Maybe a bit late, but we'll have to see how this all plays out. Canadian model, a really good model as well. Has been doing a great performance this past winter. Notice it generally agrees pretty well, right? First system, second system, Northeast system, and in the future, it does continue advertising for some light snow chances, especially to the north as that cold pattern remains. And that is the main two models that I like on Tropical Tidbits. Here's the European on Pivotal Weather. Notice there's our system spinning way into Monday, Tuesday morning, right? Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday, it starts to finally move out. And once it does so, you can see not a lot of precip, except maybe to the south and the northeast at some points. Into Thursday and Friday, we see a larger system finally develop on Friday with that potential snow across Nebraska, Kansas. You can see the models are in relatively good agreements. There aren't any models that show a massive system and then another model doesn't show anything at all. Every single model the GFS in Europe and Canadian showed, the GFS or the European shows as well. And you can see after that system kind of dwindles away, cool air remains, but at least it's not soggy. Probably sunny, sunshine, which will make it feel much better. Then we have a little clipper, again, potentially some potent snow out of this. For the past several years, especially across the Midwest, the Great Lakes, and really just the U.S., central U.S., there has been a trend that Aprils are very cool. And for example, the last 2 years, we've gotten more snow here in Chicago in April than in December. So it's really something that continues for the many years in a row. And even though they thought it would be warmer, it turned out to be quite a bit cooler. And you can see this little system, these little clippers will come through, drop a few inches, and then even if the next day is in the 40s and 50s, this continues, and this pattern of these little potential storms is very, very supportive. And you can see right there, moves up the northeast coast, snow to southern Canada. What does a European think in terms of the total snowfall accumulations? Here we go. There's our first system. You can see not bad amounts. A lot of these areas are snow starved. They literally got around 5 to 6 inches for their whole season. There's like this very small pocket in northwestern North Dakota that's seen that little amount of snow. So this is good news. It will melt quickly and turn into water for planting. Notice later on, here's our second and third system across across Colorado, Wyoming, potentially to Kansas. The European keeps it more into Nebraska. And again, there's our little potent storm. Look at that, Green Bay potentially picking up double-digit snowfalls from that. Again, winter is still hanging on, and the pattern we have right now, it may hang on for a bit longer than usual. A bit longer, say, than last year even. Okay, and that is basically all I wanted to cover. Show you these snow systems, this chilly pattern. This is what the 8 to 14 day out looks like. 8 to 14 day outlook looks like April 19th through the 25th. They're, showing the above average for the west and extreme northeast, maybe the peninsula of Florida. But then notice that it's 8 to 14, so the confidence is normally low. But still, 50% this far out means that they have pretty good confidence. And look at that. All dry, excluding maybe Florida, below average. Right, so yes, rain will still occur, just not as much as usual, right? That's what below average means. And look at this, a 6 to 10 day outlook, so a bit less further out, they have more confidence, and the cold air is pretty expansive, especially towards Texas, Oklahoma, and areas surrounding. And then notice the below average really is they're confident in, and they're showing a bit of extra rain across the south, which the models show, especially across Florida. Okay, that's basically it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.